Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is August 19th, and right now we're looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see our upper level low spinning across Vancouver Island as we speak. This brought quite a bit of lightning here up the Washington coast towards Vancouver Island, even at a lightning strike across the Puget Sound there. If you take a look at across Pacific Ocean, here comes Monday's system. It's going to bring another round of convection, mainly Cascades east. We'll take a look at that here in a moment. Now, taking a look here, this is the process of this monsoon moisture moving up across Pacific Northwest. You can see its progress. A lot of lightning across Oregon on Wednesday. Then we went through a lull, kicking off some more here Thursday afternoon at the Washington coast, higher terrain of BC. Then last night and early this morning, this upper level low really started to produce quite a bit of lightning here across the region. So kind of a nice look at how this monsoon moisture moves into our area. It comes from, all the way down from the southwest, bringing up some very rich, moist air. As you guys probably felt yesterday, it was very muggy across the region here. And if I back up a little bit here, you can see that lightning strike near Tacoma. We did get that one for the Puget Sound, but really quite a bit of lightning there for the Washington coast and towards Vancouver Island as we speak. This activity should continue for portions of southwest BC, especially the higher terrain and maybe the Cascades today as well. So taking a look at SeaTac yesterday, we got 87. We missed that daily record high by 1. The clouds just kept us down. Had we not had as many clouds around, we would have easily been up into the lower 90s for Seattle. So we missed that one. But for Pasco, they did tie the all-time daily record high yesterday of 106. So it's going to remain above average over there too. So the very warm summer for Eastern Washington continues. And Spokane doing a good job with their graphics there, talking about the NOAA weather radio outage. So if your radio is not working, you'll know why, at least through August 24th. They have the September outlook there. They talk about the warm night last night. So great graphics here for the National Weather Service Spokane. You can see the thunderstorm threat for the North Cascades today. Can't completely rule another strike out for the Puget Sound, mainly north. But for southwest BC, Vancouver Island, this lightning strikes are probably going to continue here for the next few hours, especially the higher terrain of BC today. Now, why did this upper level low produce that lightning? We can kind of see this area of cold air here at 500 millibars, 18,000 feet. You notice that lightning was in the proximity of this colder air, and you can kind of see where it crossed Vancouver Island as it moved up the Washington coast here, across Vancouver Island. That's why the lightning strikes were happening there. Destabilize the atmosphere just enough to kick off those thunderstorms. And you'll notice it didn't get into the Puget Sound too much, just enough to kick off one strike. But for the most part, you can see where that lightning tracked following that cold air here. Now taking a wider look at things here, this is the same thing, 500 millibars. You can see that area of cold air here at 18,000 feet. And if we put that into motion, you'll see it track across the Vancouver Island area here. This is Alaska, Washington, Oregon, if you can't tell. So there's British Columbia here. But so you can see this area of cold air move through here. And then you can see Monday's system out here that's going to spin across the area and mainly be a threat Cascades east for convection. And you'll see this trough start to dig out across the Gulf of Alaska here, building this ridge across our region. So we're going to warm up again next week. And depending on just how much we amplify this ridge here, it depends on that. It'll make all the difference between how warm we get across the region here. So we'll keep monitoring this process, this trough and ridge dance here as we go through next week and try to pinpoint some of these temperatures. Some of the models were showing us get it towards 90 again here in Seattle. Now taking a look here at 700 millibars, 10,000 feet, you can also see this feature here, this colder air, and you can kind of see proximity with this colder air again and where those lightning strikes occurred. So that was the trigger for these storms here. And then you can see Monday's system coming up through here, which is going to bring some convection again, mainly east across portions of eastern Washington, British Columbia here as we go on through early next week. Now taking a look here, this is the HRRR 3KM. It did a pretty good job picking up the thunderstorms moving up the Washington coast across Vancouver Island. Kind of wanes this activity a little bit, but shows some of it reaching southwest BC. We'll see how that turns out there. It did show a little bit of a threat across Puget Sound. We did get that one strike, but the HRRR was doing pretty good with picking up this activity across northwest Washington and Vancouver Island the last couple of days. And you can see as we go through this afternoon and evening that threat still exists for portions of the higher terrain of BC and the North Cascades of Washington. Even shows a thunderstorm drifting across, maybe Mount Rainier north, east slopes of the Cascades here. So we'll go ahead and monitor that through the day. I'll probably update during Twitter at some point. On Twitter at some point. And here goes the max temperatures for today. I don't think we're going to get low 80s for Seattle today. Probably going to remain around average upper 70s. But you can see Eastern Washington remaining quite warm today, but definitely a little bit chillier than yesterday, or a little bit cooler than yesterday, let's say. I shouldn't even use the word chilly. As we go on into tomorrow, Sunday, you can see right around average for Seattle, Portland, Willamette Valley, probably into the 80s. Still warm, up towards 100 degrees in portions of eastern Washington as well. And by Monday, some of these temperatures might be off a little. It actually shows the cool down a little bit there for Monday. But if we get that system rolling through here, it'll chop a few degrees at least off those highs for eastern Washington. Maybe keep you down closer to normal as we go through Monday, as that system moves through that we talked about coming off the Pacific Ocean. Now here we'll look at the extended forecast a little bit here. 500 millibars, 18,000 feet, European 06Z run. Here goes that upper level low on Monday, and then quickly this ridge builds back up as this trough is pretty deep here over the Gulf of Alaska. Allows this ridge to build in quite nicely here as we go on to early next week. So it looks like we're going to warm up again here and through next week, folks. Pretty stout ridge here off the west coast of North America. Let's back up a little bit here and see what yesterday afternoon's run shows that also will go out a little bit further. So nice ridge built up through mid next week, and then you can see some troughing tries to dig out across the area. And the models have kind of been hinting at this in the future, this deep trough kind of moving around the Gulf of Alaska, impacting the Pacific Northwest. Way out in fantasy land at this point, but just something to watch. Maybe we'll get we'll start to get below average for a few days as we go on through the extended here and through August. But again, it's just fantasy. It's not worth hanging your hat on yet. As you can see, the differences in some of the extended runs here with the ridging versus troughing. This is going to change quite a bit as we get closer to this. So first things first, this ridge next week is looking fairly likely. So we are going to warm back up again next week, then potentially start to cool ourselves off as we get towards the end of next week. So we'll continue to monitor that. Here's the GFS ensemble mean. And you can see here's Monday's system out here. It's going to finally kick through on Monday. Then quickly we start to build this ridge. Now this is the 12Z. It's running right now. That's why it's kind of still short. Let's go ahead and see where we are here. And this goes through Monday. There goes the ridge building here, Gulf of Alaska trough digging. So pretty good agreement here with the European and the GFS on this ridge building off the coast of North America. So we are going to warm up pretty good next week. I wouldn't be surprised to see us flirting with upper 80s or even 90 for SeaTac next week, especially if this verifies. Now, taking a look here at Tri-Cities, you can see the average highs are back down around 90. You can see average temperatures are expected here through the extended for the Tri-Cities. Here's Seattle, generally just about average or above average, and maybe that warm-up coming as we go through mid next week. And again, flirting potentially with 90 degrees there on Thursday, according to yesterday afternoon's European run. So, yeah, the heat's probably going to make another return. I know a lot of people are getting some thunderstorms out here on the Washington Peninsula, the Vancouver Island that could potentially move over to southwest BC. I don't know if anybody heard that lightning strike there through the Puget Sound. I did not hear it. But we did get some measurable rainfall at my house here today. So anyway, yeah, heat returns next week, but we still have the system to deal with here on Monday as well. We're probably going to spawn some more thunderstorms that move across eastern Washington. And hopefully none of these lightning strikes kick off any fires across BC as we go through the day today or across the North Cascades. And same with that system as it moves through on Monday. We'll continue to monitor that. And we'll continue to monitor just how strong this ridge is going to build up across the area and how long this heat's going to hang out for next week and when the next cool down is coming. And eventually one of these ridges is going to be the last summer ridge here coming up, probably at some point in September. As our days start to get shorter, we start to cool down, and fall is not far away. Actually, meteorological fall starts on September 1st. So just a heads up there, it's, we're getting back towards the fall time of year here, folks. So anyway, hope you guys are enjoying this weather, and leave some comments below. Click like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.